because we are in a consciousness revolution and a consciousness evolution, our chakras are also evolving. Around the world, people are having experiences of a lot of darkness coming up, a lot of fear, a lot of desire to control. That is because our chakras are opening once again and energy is flowing through them, which means the things that have been stuck and stagnant in our collective consciousness are coming to the surface. The more that you clear your chakras, the less affected you are by all of this energy that is clearing through the chakras right now. Our bodies are evolving toward a light body. It happens through the chakras, through the allowance of energy moving through you. We are consciousness incarnate. We are all that is incarnate into this one physical body. And when we remember that and we open, we receive things far beyond human consciousness. Hello, my name is Eluña. I am an Akashic channeler and a psycho-spiritual healer and teacher. Today, I would like to speak with you about your chakras and how they are connected to your spiritual evolution. I also want to share just a brief overview of the chakras, where they're located, and even if you have heard this information before, or think that you've heard this information before, some of what I'm going to share is likely going to be contrary to some things that you've heard, and it also just may bring a new perspective to some things that you already know. So, what are the chakras, and how do they relate to your spiritual evolution? Chakras are centers in the body that are connected to specific physical areas and also glands within our body. So for example, the root chakra, the lowest chakra within our physical being, is located in our sacrum and our perineum. Some people say it's at the base of the spine, but it is actually even deeper underneath. It is inside of our sacrum and our perineum, so it's really at the very base of our abdomen, of our entire body. It sits there, and it governs physical components that are also in that area, and some that spread throughout the body. So the first chakra, the root chakra, it governs our sexual organs, our sexual glands. It also governs our musculoskeletal system. So that's our entire skeleton, as well as our muscles and the tissues that make up our body. So that is one example to show what a chakra is on a physical level. On an energetic level, the root chakra also has to do with our sense of belonging and safety. So there are energetic components to each of the chakras because they are energy centers that live within the body. These energy centers connect your different bodies, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. It connects all of them together, including the effect that these chakras have on your light body. As the chakras are energy centers, and they carry energy, they also receive energy, and they know how to release energy. That also means that they are carrying consciousness, because energy is consciousness. So, because we are in a consciousness revolution and a consciousness evolution of our species, our chakras are also evolving. It is important to understand and have a basic foundation of what our chakras are in order to understand how they are evolving and what effect that has on your own spiritual evolution. So let's dive in. The energy or consciousness that each of your chakras carries affects your day-to-day life. So the impact on your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, as well as your spiritual health, all come back to how clear your chakras are. In a previous video, I spoke about maintaining a clear field, and this is really how that is done, is through the chakras. So, based on the energy within each of your chakras, you are going to have a certain experience, and that experience is going to build to a certain way of life during the day. So if you are carrying a significant amount of energy that has been stuck, that is stagnant or old in any one of your chakras, it is going to affect your experience throughout your life. It is going to determine how you are experiencing life, as well as having impacts on what you are able to manifest and bring into your life or not. Because your chakras are connected to each of your bodies, that means that they are the determining factor for what is present in your field. So if you have old energy stuck in one of your chakras, that means that energy is permeating your field around you. The field around you is what determines what you are able to receive in your life, because everything is a reflection. So what you have in your field will be reflected back to you in your day-to-day experience. So let's go through each of the chakras. I started with the first chakra, and I'm just going to go back to that to start from the beginning together. The root chakra, located in our sacrum or perineum, so it is really deep underneath, beneath our tailbone. When you follow it all the way under, that is where our root chakra is located. As I mentioned, it governs the sexual organs, our sexual glands, and our muscular skeletal system. So that means both our muscles as well as our skeleton. And it also happens to govern the tissues within our body, specifically the tissues that surround our organs. So that is a lot for the first chakra to govern. It's a lot on a physical level for that chakra to have an effect on in your body. So if you can just imagine any impact that you may experience in your muscles, in your tissues, in your skeleton, or anything to do with your sexuality, that is all related and connected to your first chakra. There's a lot that we could look at in that. Any type of inflammation is a misuse of what's happening in the tissue that's going to be connected to your first chakra. There are other connections to other chakras that can be connected to inflammation as well, but it is also going to come down to the health of your first chakra if there is inflammation. That is, of course, only one example of a physical imbalance that may be showing up in your life if your first chakra is not being tended to. On an emotional and energetic level, the first chakra is connected to our sexuality. That means our sexual expression, our sexual identity, as well as the safety that we feel within our sexual expression and our sexual identity. It is also connected to the safety that we feel just in our physical body, because again, it governs our skeleton, our muscles, etc. And so just the safety that we feel of being in this body is connected to our first chakra. It is also connected on an emotional level to our safety. So if we feel safe in our environment, then we are having a chakra that is clear for the most part. Our root chakra is going to be clear if we can feel safe around us. If there are any forms of fear or anxiety, that is going to be connected in some way to the root chakra. So it may also have other implications in other chakras, but it is ultimately going to come back to the root chakra again. The second chakra, or our sacral chakra, that is located, yes, below the navel. That is what most commonly is written, but it is actually deep in the gut. So it is inside, deep in the center of our gut. That is where our sacral chakra is located. This is connected to our stomach, our digestive organs, as well as the pancreatic glands. The pancreas processes sugar and also processes other liquids in our body. And so the second chakra is connected a lot to our emotions and our creativity. So when we are feeling blocked in a certain emotion, a certain expression of that emotion, then we have some kind of contraction in our sacral chakra. When we are unable to creatively express, which is also connected to the expression of our emotions, then we also will feel some kind of hindrance or block. And again, we can bring this back to how safe do we feel to express our emotions? How safe do we feel to creatively express ourselves, our spirit? And so that is also again rooted in the root chakra, but it is still having an effect on our sacral chakra. Because the second chakra is also connected to our digestive system, our stomach, it is also connected energetically to how we process information. So if we are receiving too much information, or we are not taking time to integrate the information we are receiving, then that means our second chakra, as well as possibly our stomach itself, is going to be overactive, or it's going to be stunted in some way. So, keeping yourself clear, where you are not receiving an overload of information, you are actually able to process things fully. That is one of the ways that you are able to support the second chakra. The other piece that is connected to this, because this is about the creative expression of our soul and it is about the emotional expression of our being. This is also connected to our sense of safety and belonging in a community, in a social network of people. So the first chakra is our safety just with our own self and connected to the planet and our body. The second chakra is about our safety amongst others in a social community. The third chakra is our solar plexus chakra. That is located in the soft space just underneath the ribs, in the upper part of the abdomen, where if you push in, then you naturally kind of contract. That is where it is located, again, in the center and in there. This chakra physically governs our liver, our gallbladder, and our adrenal glands. It is very important to remember the effect that this has with our adrenal glands and how connected these are. If you do not know what your adrenal glands are, there are only a few places in the body where we have adrenal glands. They process our cortisol, which is the stress hormone. What that means is that if you are living in a state of anxiety, a state of stress, you live in heightened stress, that means that you have cortisol going through your body frequently. Your adrenal glands are very taxed because they are trying to help process the cortisol that is moving through you. They're trying to help process the stress. Your third chakra, your solar plexus chakra, because it is connected to this, on an emotional level, if your adrenal glands are highly taxed, which means you're living in a state of stress, you are going to feel a need to control things because you are trying to maintain some sense of safety. You are trying to feel not so stressed by controlling a situation. That, of course, can look different based on the person and based on the circumstances. It may be that you are trying to control the people around you or the environment around you, or it may be that you are trying to control some aspect of yourself, and you might be repressing a lot in your attempt to control something within you. Regardless, this third chakra, it is connected to our ability to completely surrender. Because it is connected to how much we control when it is in a distorted or contracted state, it is also connected to how deeply we can surrender. The emotional imbalances that can come up here are related to anger and frustration, simply because that is tied to stress. So, anger and also self-esteem and confidence are the other energetic and emotional components to the third chakra. Because when we are in a state of complete surrender, we are in a state of complete trust. That means that we are naturally going to feel confident and we are going to have self-esteem by just going through life as we are. So that is why it is all connected to our third chakra. These lower three chakras, these are the chakras that are connected to the physical aspect of us the most strongly. They are connected to the deepest part of our humanity. They are also connected to the oldest part of our brain inside of us, the limbic brain. Each of these centers, they connect in a physical way and also in an energetic way to the fight or flight, freeze or fawn response that is activated in our limbic brain, which is the oldest part of our brain. So, these are not just centers to consider on an energetic level, and they also cannot only be considered on a physical level, because they have effects in both of those areas, physically and energetically. And if something is out of alignment in any of those, then it's going to affect these chakras. And that is true of all chakras. These three specific ones just have a very significant impact on our physical experience in the world. So that is why I am really highlighting that there. Our fourth chakra is our heart chakra. That is located in the center of our chest. If you find your sternum bone, it's the little nodule that sits in the middle of your rib cage. Just beneath that bone, there is a gland called the thymus gland. The thymus gland is responsible for many different feelings and emotions, that it is responsible for different chemicals that are released that make us feel really good, such as oxytocin and many other chemicals. So this is the gland that is connected to our heart, and you can activate this gland and also open up your heart a little bit by tapping on this space. It awakens it in certain times. And our heart chakra is a very special and unique chakra because it is the bridge between our physical 3 chakras on the bottom, and our upper etheric chakras that connect us to the spiritual realm or the astral realm above us. So our heart has a very special gift, it has many special gifts, and one of those gifts is its ability to connect to the astral while bringing the physical also with it. There is a lot of evolution that is going to take place within our heart, and it already is taking place within our heart. And it is one of the pieces that I teach on the most frequently because everything is possible through the heart. As long as we are bringing the rest of us with us, we can do anything with our hearts. So, our heart is the center where we are able to feel the pure emotions, the sacred emotions, as I call them, from our soul. These are the emotions that evolve our experience here on earth. So we have love, joy, grief, and rage. Those 4 emotions, in their simplistic senses, those emotions evolve our experience here on earth. And when we allow ourselves to deeply and fully feel those emotions, our heart opens and activates in ways that otherwise are not possible. It is also one of the ways that your spirit connects to you and speaks through you, through your heart, by you choosing to feel those emotions fully. So they are one of the ways that on a spiritual sense, you evolve by allowing yourself to feel those emotions fully. On a physical level, our heart center, of course, does affect our physical heart, our organ, and our physical heart is connected to our brain in a very significant way. There are many aspects through the veins, through nerves, and through the ventricles, through many aspects on a physical level that our heart is connected to our brain. And I'm not going to go into all of that. If you are curious, I highly encourage you to research it yourself. That is a little too complex just for this introductory video. But what is important to know is that the more in tune you become with your heart, and the more that you give your energy there, the more aware you become of your heart, that changes your consciousness, and that change affects your brain. It affects the way that you operate in this world and the way that you think, the way that you see the world, the way that you understand and learn new information. All of that is affected when you bring more attention and energy to your heart center. So it is a very, very helpful thing to tune into this center each and every day. When we do so, we are also evolving our emotional sense. We are evolving what our understanding, our felt experience of love, of compassion, of gratitude, of what those really are. That evolves our experience here on this planet. And of course, it makes us feel far more joyful and far more grateful to be alive when we are able to more deeply feel. Even when the emotions are extremely challenging, you feel more alive and more joyful simply through feeling deeply. It is something that is absolutely worth trying. So our 3 upper chakras, technically there are 4, but the 3 upper chakras that are located within the physical body, the first, which we call the 5th or throat chakra, is here. It's located just at the base in the kind of soft space of your throat, in the center. That chakra is connected to our expression of truth. So if we are feeling prevented or we are feeling unsafe to express ourselves authentically, then this chakra is going to be out of alignment. And in a way, the energy in that center is going to really close and contract. And you may experience, on a physical sense, you may experience a closing of your throat. You may also experience some type of issue with your thyroid gland, because our 5th chakra, that is the gland that it is connected to. The thyroid does many things. Again, I encourage you to look at all these glands and understand what is actually happening in your body. That's deeply important for you to know what is happening in your body. The thyroid gland, one of the key pieces that it is connected to are our hormones and, therefore, the way that we metabolize food. That is, again, connected to our 2nd chakra, because our 2nd chakra is where we physically process and digest food and also process information. But the second piece of processing information and processing food on a physical level is letting it go, right? We all let go of food and liquid and waste within us. That's the final piece of how we are processing on a physical level, how we are digesting food. When we are processing and digesting information, we also have to let that go in some way. It has to move out of us. So if we are not doing some kind of creative act with our hands, with our body through dance, if we are not painting, if we are not using our voice through singing, through expressing, through words, through tones, then we are not completing the process of information. We are not fully digesting what we have received because it's all just staying inside of us. We're not allowing it to complete by coming out of us again. So just like we physically digest and process food, we must also digest and process information, and that is done very often through our throat. So our second chakra and our fifth chakra are deeply connected for this reason, because we of course take food in through our mouth, which passes through our throat, and when we are expressing, air and then words come out of our mouth and come out of our throat. So those are deeply tied. If you have ever experienced or are currently facing issues in your thyroid, in your digestive process in some way, then it is likely that you have something going on within your second chakra and or your fifth chakra, and so that is a place to look at, to bring balance to. Because our throat, of course, is just above our heart, that means that it is also connected to our expression of authenticity. When we allow ourselves, when we practice, because it is a practice, when we practice expressing our truth and our authenticity, that is a way of us telling our heart, which is then a message to our soul, that we are here to speak our truth, that we are here to live as our truth. That means that your field is going to reflect that. Your heart field is going to become more and more truthful to your soul, because when you are able to express it, your soul is able to give you more information because you are finishing the process by allowing it to come out of you. Our sixth chakra, or third eye, most people, they recognize it as being in the center of our forehead. That is, I like to call it the gate to our sixth chakra, because the actual physical location of our sixth chakra is in the very back of our brain, in the center back of our head, and that is at our pineal gland. If you haven't noticed the pattern so far, I will just give you a hint. Each one of our chakras is connected and located at a gland in our body. We can go into the complexities of that and the reasons why at a later time, but just understand that that is how you know where a chakra is located, because it is connected to the glands in that area. So in this case, this sixth chakra is connected to our pineal gland. If you do not know what your pineal gland is, I highly encourage you to look up a picture and see where it is actually located within your brain, because the more that you focus on that, the more you are going to be able to bring energy there, and that activates it. I will get into all of that at a later time. For now, the pineal gland, it is a gland that releases melatonin as well as serotonin. So when we are waking up in the morning, melatonin is converted into serotonin. It's what makes you feel awake and more alert. That happens when light meets your eyes. So the moment that that happens, that light is processed in your occipital lobe, which is also at the back of your brain, and that gives information to your pineal gland that it is time to wake up. So our circadian rhythm, our wake and sleep cycle, is directly linked to our pineal gland and to the hormones that are being released there. Our pineal gland, I love because it is our radio antenna. It is the way that we receive information beyond this physical realm. Our pineal gland is actually covered in crystals, and it has an ability to tune into frequencies beyond visible light, beyond the visible spectrum of what we see in this reality. That means if you have a gift, or if you are wanting to develop a gift of some kind of psychic ability, whether that is hearing information or seeing information or simply sensing information, that is happening through your pineal gland. It is happening through the way that you are receiving frequencies beyond the visible light spectrum. Light, of course, is just information. So when you are able to tune into a frequency of light that is beyond what your physical human eyes can see, you are tuning into frequencies and information that is also beyond what your human eyes can see. That is one of the reasons why I am able to receive so much information. It is because my pineal gland is highly tuned and also very, very sensitive. And it has simply been that way since I was a child. So if you are wanting to activate your pineal gland, if you are wanting to receive clearer information, then one of the ways to do that is to give your awareness, which is your energy, to your pineal gland more often. Now, the key piece about this always comes back to how clear is your field. If the rest of your chakras are not in alignment, and I will simply say, there are many examples of what I am going to share online today. There are many examples of this. If your chakras are not clear, if you are carrying stagnant energy, then that means your field is also carrying stagnant energy. If you have an activated pineal gland and you are able to tune into high frequency information, which is beyond the physical realm, and your field is not clear, then the information that you receive is going to be reflected through the field that you carry. That means if you are carrying fear of some kind in your field, and then you tune into frequencies beyond this realm, then the information that you receive, it is going to come through with fear. It is going to come through in a distorted way. That is just the process. 1 + 1 = 2, and that is what that equals. A field full of fear plus tuning into higher frequencies equals a transmission full of fear. That is how that happens. And it is not done intentionally, I know, but it is just something that the more information that we become aware of on a subtle realm, the more that we must become aware of the subtle information within us and within our field, so that we can maintain a clear state and be giving clear information to those who are listening, including ourselves. So, our 7th chakra, that is located, many people, again, they refer to the very top center of the head. Yes, that is, again, the entryway, a gate into your crown chakra, but it is actually physically located in the very, very center of your brain because it is located in the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is sometimes called the master gland. It is the gland that releases hormones and all kinds of biochemical transmitters that affect everything in your body. It affects your overall experience, including your emotional experience throughout the day. That means that your pituitary gland receives information from every one of your other glands in your body. So your sexual glands, your digestive glands, your adrenal glands, your thymus glands, your thyroid gland, your pineal gland, all affect the information that your pituitary gland is receiving, and vice versa. So when you give more energy and attention to your pituitary gland and you are bringing in a sense of clarity, that means that all of the other glands are also going to receive a lot of clarity. They are going to receive new information. They are going to receive refined energy so that your body is able to operate in a different way, a way that is not based on fear, a way that is not based on contraction or a need to control, for example. This gland, as it is the gateway above our head, it is also what connects us to source energy. And it happens to be the connection to our last chakra that lives outside of our body. These are the primary 8 chakras for you to really be concerned about, to be focusing on, and to be giving your attention to. The final chakra sits above our head a few inches, 8 to 10 inches or so, sometimes 16 inches, depending on the person. And that chakra receives information from the crown chakra and vice versa. You receive information from your 8th chakra going all the way down through all of your other chakras. In ancient Egyptian times, this chakra was called the Ka. So where we get the word Merkaba from is this chakra. The Merkaba is a vehicle to travel through the astral planes. And we get there by going through our 8th chakra, by going into the Ka. We are able to travel through the astral and experience things way beyond the physical senses, so long as the other glands in your body, the pituitary and the pineal gland, are in alignment with this. Your experience, of course, going into those different realms are also going to be affected by the rest of your chakras, because if you, again, are carrying any type of fear, then you are going to have a fearful experience when you go into the astral. You may see things or sense things that seem dark or scary to you because that is what you are carrying in your field. So that is what's being reflected around you. So our Ka is connected emotionally to our worthiness, our ability to receive. When our Ka, when this 8th chakra above us, when we give our attention to it and we choose to open it, we are opening to receiving information, energy, direct knowing from source, from God. That is what we are opening ourselves to. And that is directly connected, of course, to our worthiness and how we receive anything on the physical plane, because it all comes from God. Everything comes from only one source. So when our 8th chakra is open, when we feel a sense of worthiness to receive, we are able to receive more in our day-to-day life, in every way. Emotionally, energetically, physically, in our health, physically, in the things that we want to manifest, the experiences that we want to manifest. All of that happens when our 8th chakra is open, when we have given our attention to it and we truly feel worthy to receive. When we remember, we are consciousness incarnate. We are all that is incarnate into this one physical body, this one human form for this brief period of time. This is one aspect of us expressed here in the physical realm. And when we remember that, and we open, we receive things far beyond human consciousness and far beyond human material realm as well. So, there is a little brief overview of our chakras. How does all of that connect to our evolution as a species? After the second fall of humanity, which is what I refer to after the fall of Kem, which is pre-dynastic Egypt, after that time, humanity's chakras were frozen in place. That is for a variety of reasons that, again, are a little too complex to go into this introductory video in. But what I want you to know is that if you have ever seen, and if you have not seen, then please look it up. If you have ever seen a beautiful mandala, an image of one of our chakras, that image is showing a snapshot of a perfect frozen chakra. So that is what we would want our chakras to look like with no energy moving through them. It's an image of that. Our chakras, however, are actually fractal in nature, because everything is fractal in nature. Because a fractal is the truth of the universe. If you do not know what a fractal is, please go look it up and look at the artwork of fractals. It will change your consciousness and you will understand the nature of reality just by looking at them. Our chakras are fractal in nature because they are reflections of the creation, the creation of all. So that means that our chakras move, they fluctuate. They have now begun moving again. So part of our evolution, it is really the way that we are evolving. It is through our chakras. Our chakras are moving energy through them once again. They have returned, really, to their natural fractal state, even though that's part of our evolution. It's a return. So they have returned back to their natural fractal state and are allowing energy to flow through them once again. What does this mean? We can see it all around us, that around the world, people are having experiences, and on a collective level, we are having experiences of a lot of darkness coming up. A lot of contraction, a lot of fear, a lot of desire to control. That is because our chakras are opening once again and energy is flowing through them, which means the things that have been stuck and stagnant in our collective consciousness are coming to the surface once again so that they can be released, so that they can be let go of, which ultimately allows them to be healed. That's on a collective level. On an individual level, you have likely been experiencing a lot of these same symptoms, but just personally with yourself. Whether significant changes in your life have taken place recently, whether you have been emotionally feeling absolutely exhausted or overwhelmed in the past few years, Possibly you are feeling emotionally overjoyed and very overcome with the amount of love that you are feeling. That is also a symptom of your heart chakra opening and expanding and returning to a fractal state. There are also people who are having this happen with their pineal gland, and they are having full-on awakenings, people who have never been interested in spirituality, who perhaps considered themselves to be atheists before, are having full-on spiritual awakenings. I have come across many people like this. They have come to receive guidance and assistance because all of a sudden their pineal gland is open, energy is flowing through, and they are seeing things that they have never seen before and experiencing things that they didn't think were possible. That is all indicative of the evolution of what is happening, and that evolution is taking place within our chakras. It used to be that people had to take either many years or, most often, many lifetimes to open their chakras. In order to get their chakras aligned, in order to get the energy flowing, doing yoga consistently every single day and living as a yogi was one of the ways that chakras could be opened again. That time period in humanity was deeply necessary and supportive of where we are right now, because since so many people chose to do that, we are now in this current phase of our evolution, where we do not have to take many years, nor do we have to take lifetimes to open our chakras again. That is not where we are anymore. It's not necessary. Most children who are coming in today are now born with their chakras wide open. They have energy flowing right through them, and it's one of the reasons why they are more aware. They remember things that possibly you did not remember when you were a child from previous lifetimes. They simply know things more. It is because their chakras are open. This also is expressed in children when they are deeply sensitive. It is because their chakras are fully open. They are not shutting down the emotions of what is taking place within them. That is also indicative of children's chakras being open. And we as adults also have our chakras opening. Whether you were born with this or not, I happen to be born this way, and very likely many of you were also born this way. If you feel that you were not born that way, or simply know that that's not true for you, then know that your chakras are absolutely open and flowing now. That is happening. And one of the ways that you can support them is by maintaining a clear field, by meditating on your chakras and giving your awareness and your energy to each of them so that they can clear, so that they can release the energy that is moving through you. This is energy that comes from your current lifetime, from your ancestors' lifetime, and from your karmic past lifetimes, as well as the collective. All 4 of those layers are processing through your chakras every single day, moment by moment. The more open that you create a field, and the more clear that you allow your field to be, and the more that you clear your chakras, the less affected you are by all of this energy that is clearing through the chakras right now. So rather than experiencing the part of this evolution that is very challenging, that is physically draining, that is emotionally overwhelming, instead of experiencing all of that, you are able to experience the lighter part of this evolution. Because this is an evolution toward our highest joy and highest good. So I assure you, you are allowed and you are meant to feel very good. You are meant to feel joyful through this experience. It does not have to be dense, full of grief, full of rage, full of the perception of injustice all the time. That's not what it has to be. If that is where you want to put your attention, then you can stay there. But allowing yourself to have a clear field, which means in your heart, fully feeling the emotions that come up within you. It does not mean you change your emotional state. It means you feel your emotions fully. You express your truth. You process the energy through you. When you do this, you maintain a clear field and you are living in a state of lightness, because that is what we are evolving into. Our bodies are evolving toward a light body. That is how it happens. It happens through the chakras, through the allowance of energy moving through you. So now that you know all of this, now that you have perhaps a different understanding of the physical location of these chakras, the energetic and emotional implications of these chakras, as well as, again, very importantly, the glands, the physical glands that these chakras govern. And now that you know that it is through our chakras that we are evolving, what are you going to do? What will you do with all of this information now? Listening and receiving is one part and the first step of learning something, and then you apply it. So you have learned that maintaining a clear field and clearing your chakras every single day is part of your evolution. And your evolution is an evolution of joy, which means it's also part of how you live in a state of joy, is by clearing your chakras and keeping a clear field. So now that you know this, what are you going to do? I would really love to read in the comments, what are you going to do? What do you currently do that works for you to maintain a clear field, if that is something that you already practice? And if there is a certain chakra meditation or way of meditating with your chakras that keeps you in a state of evolution, which means you are experiencing joy on a more day-to-day basis, please share that in the comments so that other people can also read about what is working for you. On my website, I have a chakra clearing meditation that I fully welcome you to explore. Eluñanoel.com is the website. You can find more information about my membership, which is we do a lot of chakra clearing meditations, and there is a lot of teaching on there about keeping a clear field and about clearing your chakras. And if you have not gotten a chance to look at that, I invite you. That is one resource that you can use. And otherwise, please read the comments and see what else people are doing to keep a clear field and to clear their chakras on a day-to-day basis. And most important of all, take this information and sit with it. Contemplate. Contemplate means you allow it to just be with you. It's percolating. It's simmering in your mind. Allow it to be with you and really take in, what does that mean to me to have a clear field? Am I actually living with fear, but I'm not aware of it? Do I try to control situations, but I haven't been conscious of that? Really consider each of these chakras, the way that they affect you, and what might be showing up already in your life that you simply were not aware of before. Awareness is the first step. So bring awareness, and then bring your energy to your chakras every single day and keep them clear. I hope that this was helpful. And I thank you very much for your deep contemplation and for your comments and for helping others below if you choose to share. Till I see you again, may you remember your magic today.